Last time we saw the RGT EX86150 Pathfinder out on the trails.
And I find that cars to be actually pretty reliable. Tyres, I think, will be my first change if I was going to use this as a daily driver, and I tell you what, I might. The foam's a bit soft, so I guess that's where you'd start. Having some mass down low would be helpful, but don't just jump into adding mass to everything. Sometimes you want to get other things right first, like suspension, or in this case, tyres.
Today it's time for the 6 problems, but before we do that, I just wanted to show you one thing I forgot in the last video. There's basically no bump steer. It's hard to show you on camera, but looking at it closely, it's less than 1 millimeter to either side as the suspension compresses. That's one of the benefits of a decent panhard and 3-link front setup. They're not all created equally, and some of them still have some bump steer. This is nearly completely neutral, which is brilliant. Now, you might remember if you've seen the last video that I found this thing to be a little fast even in first speed. So today we're going to run it on a 2S battery, so 8.4 volts instead of the 3S 12 volt battery. It's a bit of a stinker today, and I'm getting everything done early in the morning before it warms up. So without further ado, let's do it. This is problem 1. We're in first gear, the diffs are locked, and I can't wait to see how we go. Now 2S is a better choice than 3S. We're going to get caught up here because the car is very long, but the tyres are long enough. Look at that, we can grip our way past. It's nice to have this low speed control. I didn't feel I fully had that on 3S out the other day. But length is still an issue though. It's straight links, and it's very stable on steep inclines and declines with this wheel length, but with this wheelbase. The problem, really, now we need to unlock the rear, which I think is on the right, I think. Yeah, it is, good. So I want the front to drag it around. Yeah, the problem is getting all messed up. Now we're going to lock that rear again. Is getting caught up. Well, we didn't fall. It was a bit sloppy, but that's problem 1 done by the skin of its teeth. We'll get wound up to problem 2. Alright. This is problem 2. First attempt. This and problem 4 are going to be challenging because this measures breakover, among other things. This is also a very difficult transition from flat to very steep climbing. That will be the line, and if we can hook the front wheel around, we'll be alright. A dig can be handy here. This car doesn't have a dig. A dig can help load up the front tyres, and you pop it out and you claw it wherever. But I still don't think that'll be enough for this car. Yeah, I think that's what we need. I'm using the front left wheel to kind of hook and pull, but it's not going to work, so now we're going to need to try and fall down onto it instead, if we can. Yeah, so we're starting from further over to the right, further away from ourselves here. Different cars need different approaches, and we've fallen back to the same place where we were. So I don't like our chances of doing problem 2. But it doesn't matter. I'm always going to give a car the best chance I can to get all 6 problems done. I don't need them to do all 6 though. As I've said many times on this channel, the reason we do this is so that you at home have a way to see how these cars perform relative to each other on different specific kinds of terrain. And so just like the Gladiator from Axial, the SCX-10 the wheelbase is such that it just can't get over certain sharp things, and that's okay. It's just the nature of a long wheelbase like this. So we've done 1 and 2 was out. This is problem 3, and it's more of a side hill and balance test more than problem 2. It's got a nasty entrance to it, but a longer vehicle like this makes short work of that. Also the length. Now you'll see a lot of cars, if you watch my channel, a lot of cars will flip over backwards from here, especially the short wheelbase ones. Now we're going to unlock that rear, and you'll see it's going to slip on one side. There we go.
I needed that to slip a little. It probably wasn't that obvious. Yeah, but what I need is the front to pull the car around, and we're going to fall. We're going to engage that rear. I want it to pull backwards now. I don't want it to flip. So this length actually worked for it then, even though we had a fall. A longer wheelbase car is inherently more stable than a shorter one, but the cost of that stability is that you really sacrifice breakover. Now I could have done with faster steering now too. I whipped that front steering around and it did not make it in time. I hold the national title for Scale 1 for Australia for 2024 last year. I'll be defending that title this year in March, at the end of March. Just friendly competition, but it's the biggest comp we have in Australia. So there you go. So it's quite slow. The servo's being challenged here. There we go. This is the only way we're going to do it. Now I need some speed. Oh, we can't really count that. We'll give it one last go. Rest assured I know what I'm doing here. And I'm going to give you the same experience and consistency with all the trucks we try. So again, when you're considering one of these cars, you know what you're getting. Now this ESC is the 880, it's a dual ESC offering, but it's just for a single motor here. It's capable of forward brake reverse, we just got it on forward reverse today. Alright, this is actually going to do it. We've actually, the length means the front can get over the top and drag the back up. There we go. Just had to get the right line. That's 3 done. Nice. Now this is problem 4, and this car is going to have a punishing time on 4, with one possible exception. You see, 4 is designed to really test your breakover more than anything else. We've got this first rock the front wheels are on now. So you've got that rock there, then you've got this rock here, then what's called a transition to get from one alignment of the car to the next. The transition from this rock here to the last rock before the exit is actually very difficult. So the car gets twisted one way then the other. So it's a twisted up breakover. However, this is the secret weapon this car has. We actually have contact right now, which is really unusual, of the tyres on this rock here and also on the first rock back there. So we're skipping this middle one. This might allow it to pull itself over where other cars get stuck, and look at that. Wow. So I've been saying breakover is an issue, but when you've got the length, and this is where it gets interesting, when you've got the length, it maybe isn't such a big deal. We are going to need some speed here though, because we got a bit stuck. Drag brake's doing its job. Oh no, I'd say we're out. If I can get the butt down, we're okay. There we go, just walking it around. Now we're going to unlock that rear, because the front has a job to do now. I'm actually still applying reverse throttle, but I don't want the back to go any further. I want the front to do the lifting now. So we're going to steer back into this. It's resting on the skid just there. We might need to lock that rear. Not that anything's touching right now. Sketchy. Alright, it's actually going to do it. We're going to unlock that rear. And you'll see it's slipping. I can't point to it right now. Now I'm going to lock it again, because I wanted the front to pull the car around while this kind of pivoted. So being able to unlock the rear is a real boon, because it means you can actually have some degree of influence over what the car is doing. That was doable, but it was tricky. Now this is problem 5, and first and foremost, it's going to get stuck on this entry to 5, this rock where the front wheels are now. It's kind of like problem 2 in that regard, and that's okay. I'm actually fairly forgiving of cars in this bit, because the main part of 5 is coming. So however the trucks can get over is fine with me. So we're down. I'm going to unlock the rear again. Now, if you're wondering about lockers, in competition, lockers are allowed in Scale 1 in the WRCCA rule set. And if I drive with a car with lockers, the front basically stays locked for me the whole time. It's actually only the rear that I'm articulating. And on this radio, it's just this guy here. So I'm driving and talking to you and locking and unlocking with that finger. So pretty straightforward. The lights are down here and the 2 speeds there. Being on 2S, we might use second speed occasionally, but for this truck, I'm going to unlock again. For this truck, I think first is actually plenty fast enough. And again, 2S I think is the way to go. Right, we're unlocked, so we're going to lock that rear just to get the front up and over before we change camera angles. I'm just going to come across here a little way. The servo could be a bit stronger. Oh dear. Yeah, I could use a faster and stronger servo. Unlocking it here. I'm just going to reverse back around this rock. Mr. Cameraman got in the way. We're just going to have another answer to that. Yeah, the servo, locking rear, the servo is my main weakness. I thought it might be the foams, but it's actually the servo really could be stronger. Right, there we go. Now we're just going to change angles. Alright, so I not only want, I'm just locking the rear, I not only want a faster servo, I want a stronger one too. It's fading. It's going to hang in there, and I don't think it's going to be an issue. I might need to unlock that rear again. No, locking. Kind of got to guess my way with cars because they vary. Yeah, you see that speed? Back on problem 3, I wanted to make an adjustment, and it just wouldn't do it in time. And we just watched it just then get completely defeated. Rear's unlocked. Locking the rear so we can pull it down. There we go. She's so long. And this entrance to 5 does favour compact cars. Now, for 1/10 scale, the old Pathfinder, compact's not a word you'd use. Alright, we'll have it now. This is where the length, see the back wants to fall off towards us. This is where the length helps because the front's high enough that it's going to be able to, like we've got grip of the whole car on that front left wheel right now. I need it to fall towards us. There we go. So the car should actually walk up now. Brake over the side. Come on. Oh no, we've lost it. Unlocking the rear and it's still not going to be enough. We're going to lose the car. No. You're kidding. No, I didn't think so. Grippier tyres might have helped. I'm actually going to give up on, we'll give it one more go. Just get it back on the entrance. I'm just accounting for the fact that that was my first attempt on that part of the throttle. Otherwise I'd have given up, but we owe it a chance just in case I stuffed up the line. Yeah, that's a better line. If it can't do this, then it can't do 5. There we go. All right, so sometimes I don't get the line right straight away. I'm still learning to drive this car and they're all a bit different. Actually looking all right so far. 1, 3, 4 and 5 have been done. Now before I start this, I could check and see just visually because there are lights here. It's really handy to know if I'm locked or not. Wish my GT5 Fly Sky radio did that. This is problem 6, of course, and breakover will work against us, unlocking the rear, but everything else will actually work in our favour. A couple of reverses needed because those front metal D shackles are getting they're getting hit on the rock here on the entrance. There we go. Locking the rear again. I want that push now. I unlocked to get rid of that push, basically, because it lets the rear pivot when the front's dragging it round one way or another. Tyres I'd like to see grabbing a bit better. Now they are still new, so maybe they just need to be bedded in. We're going to lose this if I'm not careful. There we go. This car has a lovely departure angle, like the Bronco actually. Can we save it? I don't think so. Maybe. Problem is she's so long and that servo is really slow. It's quite hard to maneuver the thing. Unlocking the rear to help now pull the front around. Servo's having a tough time, but again, 2S battery means the ESC isn't working too hard. Unlocking the rear. Need to lock it again actually to get that front push. The mechanism locks and unlocks beautifully. Like, I have no problems with it engaging and disengaging, which is beautiful. Alright, last attempt for 6. I don't have high hopes at this point. Oh, there we go. This is it. If we can do it, this is it. And we might actually need a burst of throttle because breakover, underneath the car here, it's going to get caught up on the rock just about there, further over. Let's see. We'll try slow first. I always like slow if we can. We're going to steer across. Now you see the front right tyre should squish a little, not a lot. It's all on the right tyre now. See that squish? But it's not going to last because the car's too long. So speed is the only solution. Unlocking the rear because the front's fallen over too far. If it fails here, I'm going to give up because that was the best line I had. No. All right, so I'm failing it, but let's just perfectly align it and see if it's absolutely perfectly aligned, which is about that, where I can steer, and you'll see the squish happen there in just a sec. Go forward and then squish down. You see how it compresses? That's where I'd like it to pull up, but I don't think it actually can. Yeah, okay. And so where it's actually catching, there's a lot of wear on these long links, and understandably so, because the car's just so long. Now the good news is under here, the drive shafts aren't copping too much. They're nicely intact actually, so that's a good thing. Right, so we got 1, 3, 4, and 5. This has a fan. I'll put it near the mic. It's really quiet. I like that. This did better than I thought it would, to be honest. We got problem 1, problem 3, problem 4, and 5. Definitely couldn't do 6, and probably couldn't do 1 if we kept trying. The other thing to mention to you is I was bashing this thing around on the review day. The little lever got snapped. It still works, but it's only half there. So just be aware that broke. But the mechanism still works, and the car still comes off beautifully. Magnetic attachment for the lights. There's your little fan on the 880, and the 880 itself won't be very hot at all. The fan's completely unnecessary really with 2S. Power switch is there and waterproofed. There we go. And how hot is everything else? Let's see. I can get to the motor in here somewhere. Warm but not hot. And how's the servo? It's also under here. Warm but not hot. So voltage might have played an issue that played a part there. I think if it was much hotter, we would have had some issues. If it was a higher, sorry, like 12 volt. The tires could grip better. I don't mind the foams as they are, and I think they're going to wear in well enough. It's not the grippiest for this particular kind of rock, but keep in mind around the world, different kinds of rock mean grip's going to vary. All I can really do is show you a comparison of this versus all the other cars we've looked at. It's a rugged platform, and anyone who's been watching me for a while will know that I like RGT. I don't sell for them. I think I've bought every single RGT that I have here except for 1 or 2 where Banggood sent them to me. I've got no financial incentive to push RGT on you. Look, for my whole channel, you get to know me, you'll know I'm actually all about RC, and I'm all about you guys getting the best car for you. I'm not really interested in being a salesman. I'm interested in sharing the love of the hobby. RGT has become a very, very good option these days if the price is right. Now, if you're in the USA, Traxxas might actually be a better choice, like a TRX4, than this, purely on price. And I think you'll get a fairly similar car. For example, if you don't need the really long wheelbase, this guy is a brilliant, brilliant car, very good. But for the rest of the world, these are ridiculously expensive, eye-wateringly so. I can buy this, a full set of wheels, a Fusion, another receiver, which I'm going to bring to you soon, because now I've got an option for you that works with the FlySky stuff. But yeah, you can make this nicer with new tyres, new wheels, and a Fusion, and a better servo, and still be a little cheaper than just the stock TRX4 in Australia, for example. So RGT is a good choice in some cases, but not always. This video is brought to you by my channel supporters. The 3rd tier are listed here. Thank you so much, guys, for your support. I've got 3 tiers of membership. These guys give me $10 each month, which is amazing. And all 3 tiers throw in a few bob each month, and I'm very, very thankful for that, because running this thing does actually cost quite a bit of money. We've got a lot of stuff coming. I've got a bunch of, I've got so much stuff here. I've got a bunch of excavators, tip trucks, or tippers, whatever you want to call them. A heap more crawlers coming. We've got some fast stuff as well. And oh look, there's even some monster trucks, and I've got some new jumps, so that's going to be great. And a very quick sneak peek for those who haven't seen it yet. This big boy as well, which I'm excited about, so that's cool. And we've got yet another Bronco body in the HB 1001.
I've wrecked the camera angle. So it's all happening. Guys, throw me a like if you found this video useful. Thanks again for watching. This was the RGT Pathfinder, the EX86150. There's a link below where you can find it. Thank you so much for choosing to watch RC-TNT. It's really good to have you here. I'll catch you next time.